My husband and I live in a small, unincorporated town on the outskirts of a bigger city. Although we are almost 50 years old, we are 30 to 40 years younger than any of our neighbors. Most of them have grandchildren who visit them regularly and drive them wherever they need to go. Not so for the man I usually just called Professor. His wife Elaine died 12 years ago. I only knew her briefly, but she and the professor were one of those life goals kind of couples. I loved spending time with them. They were both so witty and clearly still deeply in love. Ellen's passing hit her husband really hard. For the last year he had been battling cancer. With no bus services in our rural area and the cabs from the town are pretty expensive and long wait, I ended up driving him to the doctors. The professor had been in US since his 20s, but he still retained a charming foreign accent. My name he pronounced oui. Usually when he phoned me, he would say, "Good afternoon, oui." Sometimes he would call in the wee hours in pain, able only to gasp. Oui, I would drop the phone and run to his house to help him with his meds or take him to the city's emergency room. He was adamant about not staying away from home. He knew the end was near and he wanted to go in his own bed. On October 1st, at almost 4 a.m., my cell phone rang, showing the professor's number. When I answered, a strange voice asked, "Are we?" "Yes," I answered. "Professor?" "No," the voice giggled. "This is Maria. I'm taking him tonight." Then I woke up. I was sitting up in the bed with the phone in my hand. My husband and our dog were sleeping soundly, so the phone hadn't really rung. Or had it? I questioned myself. I started to call the professor anyway, but if he was managing to sleep, I didn't want to disturb him. So I got up and dressed quietly, and the dog and I slipped out to the backyard. I could see the professor's house from there. No lights were on, and everything was quiet. I wasn't comfortable though, so I went ahead and dialed 25 rings, no answer. Damn, I knew then. I went back in and woke my husband. We walked to the house and knocked. Nothing. We had to phone the sheriffs. They broke in. The professor had died, seemingly peacefully in his own bed, as always, as he wanted. Because of our unincorporated location, any of the chores which would fall to the professionals in an urban area are taken up by neighbors here. So that evening, with the deputy's supervision, the families on our block began to search through the professor's paper. We needed the deed to his burial plot and any kind of will or link to the distant relations. I looked through a small scrapbook of old photos that was on his nightstand. There was no cousin Marco from the old country or nephew Bob, NYC 1997. It was mostly pictures of Elaine and the professor, and their never spoken of young daughter Maria, who had died in Osaka in 1971.